In this video, I'm going to introduce troubleshooting in NX OS. You know that troubleshooting is always available and present in our scenarios, but here we are reviewing and also we are comparing troubleshooting in iOS and also NX OS. We will learn about some show commands, some debug commands, but in future videos, in scenarios, we will see again these show commands and other show commands and also debug commands. Actually, the troubleshooting section introduced basic concepts, methodology, and general troubleshooting guidelines for problems that might occur when configuring and using Cisco NXOS. We have show commands. Actually, this table lists sample exec commands showing the difference between iOS and NXOS. Let me to review them. You know that when we want to display the running configuration in iOS, we use show running config. In NXOS, again, we use show running config. They are same. For displaying the startup configuration, in iOS we use show startup config. In NXOS, again, we use show startup config. Good news. For displaying the status of a specified port channel interface, in iOS we use show ether channel, okay, for example number. Here we use show port channel number. For displaying the current boot variables, in iOS we use show boot. In NXOS, again, we use show boot. For displaying all environmental parameters, we use show environment in iOS and also in the NXOS. For displaying the percentage of fabric utilized per module, in iOS we use show fabric utilization. In NXOS we use show hardware fabric utilization, and optionally with detail. After that, for the displaying the supervisor's high availability status, in iOS we use show redundancy. In NXOS we use the show system redundancy status. For displaying CPU and memory usage data, we use show process CPU in iOS and show system resources in NXOS. For displaying a specific VRF information, in iOS we use show IP VRF name, but in NXOS we use show VRF name. Also, we have some debug commands. Actually, Cisco NXOS supports an extensive debugging feature set for actively troubleshooting a network. Using the CLI, you can enable debugging modes for each feature and view a real-time updated activity log of the control protocol exchange. Each log entry has a timestamp and is listed chronologically. You can limit access to the debug feature through the CLI roles mechanism to partition access on a per role basis. Although the debug commands show real-time information, you can use the show commands to list historical and real-time information. Use the debug commands only under the guidance of your Cisco technical support representative because debug commands can impact your network or device performance. Save debug message to a special log file, which is more secure and easier to process than sending the debug output to the console. By using the question mark option, you can see the options that are available for any feature. A log entry is created for each entered command in addition to the actual debug output. The debug output shows a timestamped account of the activity that occurred between the local device and other adjacent devices. You can use the debug facility to track events, internal messages, and protocol errors. However, you should be careful when using the debug utility in a production environment because some options might prevent access to the device by generating too many messages to the console or creating CPU-intensive events that could seriously affect network performance. Also, you can filter out unwanted debug information by using the debug filter command. Actually, the debug filter command enables you to limit the debug information produced by related debug command. Let me to show you. For example, you can use debug, filter command, and after that IP EIGRP or any. First we need to enable the EIGRP. Let me to enable this feature, and then EIGRP. And after that, we can use debug filter, IP, EIGRP, for example, interfaces, Ethernet 2.1. Actually, now we define this debug filter, because the EIGRP process is not running, this debug is not working, but when you have EIGRP, you can use this command. And after that, for example, debug EIGRP and then packets, debug EIGRP packets, for example, hello, or other packets. When you use this command, because you have debug filter, only the hello packet on this interface will be actually debugged in the console. Actually, it limits EIGRP hello packet debug information to Ethernet interface 2/1. We will learn about the show and debug command with more detail in future videos when we configure different scenarios.